that we are on a plan and it is being executed every single day, and Trump, I'm afraid, is not going to save us, okay? So you have to stay vigilant and keep your head in the game.
The John Birch Society considers communism only one arm of a master conspiracy in which socialist American insiders are plotting to establish world government. Now, it also says, and here's Director John McManus, that's your public relations director, saying that former Secretary of State Alexander Haig and CIA Director William Casey are two of these master conspirators who are plotting to establish world government. Now, what do you say? That kind of silly, asinine statement is what makes people laugh at the John Birch Society.
Well, Tom, I'm sure being a long-standing member of the Rockefeller apparatus, and as a member of the Council on Foreign Relations of longstanding, you're fully aware that there is an elitist core in this country that has seen value in subsidizing communism, of protecting communism.
It has?
Sure.
You're accusing me of subsidizing communism?
No, I'm saying
because I happen to belong to a...
there is an elite core.
Study group?
Wait a minute. There is an elite core in this country that has dominated American society.
Well, I'm not one of them.
Trilateral Commission.
The Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations.
Department, I suppose.
Well, let's face it, they've dominated the State Department for 40 years, and pretty much openly.
All right,
so.
but what are they trying to do?
Well, their objective is to try to bring about a gradual transition in our society, a dissolving of sovereignty, and a moving steadily to the left on the political spectrum.
Well, who are they?
The elitist groups that I mentioned, particularly key individuals and policymakers in the Council
Is
on
the
Foreign
International
Relations.
Monetary Fund part of it?
Well, I would say the International Monetary Fund has certainly been set up for the purpose of facilitating that transfer of sovereignty and transfer of wealth on the road.
Right, we elected Mr.
Let
Conservative.
me just finish the point, because otherwise we're going to have a lot of unanswered questions. That you are looking at a group that has worked to bring about a dissolution of national sovereignty on the road to world government. And certainly you're familiar with the local professor Carroll Quigley, who has been part of your club, in which he admitted all this. And he said in his book, Tragedy and Hope, the only thing I disagree is that we've worked to keep it a secret.
All right, hope you guys are doing okay out there. We had the big storms roll through the Midwest last night. Fires broke out in Oklahoma. I'm going to try to explain to you why these fires are not random. Hopefully by the end of this video, you'll get a better understanding on where we're going. And man, are we getting there fast. It's getting faster and faster. I explained to you guys that 2025 was going to be very fast with a lot of stuff going on. That's the only way they can move the needle, is to constantly bombard us every single day, and we don't have time to process it. Okay, so my videos are to try to help you process this information, and so you can share the information so maybe people can kind of get, that we are on a plan and it is being executed every single day, and Trump, I'm afraid, is not going to save us, okay? So you have to stay vigilant and keep your head in the game. And by the way, Larry McDonald died in a mysterious plane crash right after that interview in 1983. Here's the video clip I'm showing you guys right now of some of the fires that broke out in Oklahoma by Stillwater. And if you guys didn't know that Google announced that it was going to set a data center in Stillwater, you could probably Google that information.
According to Coco, Stillwater, Oklahoma, Google has acquired land at the intersection of Perkins and Richmond roads for the future development of a data center campus, according to a news release. The area was zoned for industrial use, and city officials told Coco 5 in October that there could be 6 phases for 6 data centers.
Also, what they're doing with all this chaos is they're taking the data that they're getting from it, like the fires, right? How we're evacuating, how we respond, who stays, who goes, and they're feeding that into their AI, so that way when the systems want to move more people, they'll have a better understanding on how we act and react. Talked about this in a couple of other videos before. There's several people out there on the internet that are watching the radars very closely anytime we have approaching storms, and we're also watching the skies with the sprays. And if you guys are paying close attention, you're going to notice a correlation between the sprays in the skies and the bad weather that you're getting. You're either getting heavily sprayed before or after each event. Please start paying attention to that. Here I'm going to show you guys a video capture of pulses that are being put out by radar stations and HAARP Okay, all those little blue circles that you see being exploded on, those are all radar pulses. See the green lines going through the air? Those are also emitting radar pulses, and it's a belief that that is actually helping control the bad weather. It's actually making it supercharged, so the weather is very high-end, unpredictable, and high-end damaging. I know many people watch the videos and they're like, oh my gosh, Doug, this is just too much. Why? The government would never do this to us. They would never intentionally poison us or burn us or put chemicals in our food or bodies that are actually going to kill us or unalive us. I got to be careful what I say. But here's a clip from a news station, KSDK, in St. Louis, Channel 5, the place I grew up, actually back in the day, reporting on what the government is doing to the citizens.
This next story is so unbelievable, we didn't think it could possibly be true. But after receiving thousands of records and declassified reports from the Army, it's confirmed that during the Cold War, the United States military conducted secret tests on unsuspecting people in the city of St. Louis. A local sociologist will make her findings public tomorrow, but she spoke first to the I-Team's Lisa Zignan.
Lisa Martino-Taylor's life work has been to uncover details of the Army's ultra-secret military experiments carried out in St. Louis and other cities during the 1950s and 60s.
This study was secretive for a reason. They didn't have volunteers stepping up and saying, yeah, I'll breathe zinc cadmium sulfide with radioactive particles.
These Army archive pictures show how the tests were done in Corpus Christi, Texas in the 1960s. In Texas, planes were used to drop the chemical, but in St. Louis, the Army placed chemical sprayers on buildings and station wagons. City officials were kept in the dark about the tests. The Cold War cover story was that the Army was testing smoke screens to protect cities from a Russian attack. The truth, according to Martino-Taylor, was much more sinister.
It's pretty shocking. The level of duplicity and secrecy, clearly they went to great lengths to deceive people.
By making hundreds of Freedom of Information Act requests, she uncovered once classified documents that confirmed the spraying of zinc cadmium sulfide. The greatest concentration of this compound was sprayed near the Pruitt-Igoe housing complex just south of downtown St. Louis. It was home to 10,000 low-income people, and an estimated 70% were under the age of 12.
I know it's hard to wrap your head around to think that they're actually out to do this to us intentionally, okay? Intentionally. I know that's so hard to wrap your head around, but that's why they're making everything look like these natural events, and that's just what's going on, and oh, it's just so terrible. And to this day, by the way, for the record, no one's repairing anything in California. Maui is still sitting there, pretty much, and nothing's going on in North Carolina. South Carolina has broken out with a bunch of fires now as well, which is also slated to be a 15-minute city there around that area. Here's another news clip of them talking about Ohio becoming a 15-minute city.
Mayor Bibb introduced the idea of being the first 15-minute city in the United States. He did this in his State of the City address last night.
The urban planning model is new, but city planners told our Sarah Shookman the time is now to tap into federal dollars to address some of Cleveland's deeper problems.
Imagine a Cleveland where everything you need is less than 15 minutes away.
It's this ideal planning framework where human needs and desires are accessible within a 15-minute walk, bicycle ride, or transit trip. And that's really what we're striving for in this new planning model.
City planner Matt Moss says it doesn't have to be a dream. Instead of a concrete jungle where people work and separate places where people live, in a 15-minute city, everything is closer.
And it's starting out with the city we have now, and then asking residents how they might want their community to grow or change in ways that, again, make things more accessible or provide them with more opportunities to access the things they want to get to in their day-to-day life.
And now I'm going to play for you guys a clip of another gentleman who's talking about the 15-minute cities, and they've rebranded them to the C40, okay? And he's going to talk to you guys a little bit about this plan. I'm not making this stuff up. They are openly talking about it all the time.
The 15-minute cities is something that the WEF has created called C40, and it's called C40 cities. I would urge you to certainly look on the internet about it, and then go to all of the TikTokers and see what they're really saying. Basically, you won't be able to drive a petrol or diesel car anymore. You'll have to buy electric. If you want food, you will get a calorie-controlled system sent to you by text saying, this is what you can eat today. This is what you can have today. If you violate any of these things, they'll freeze your bank account. That is the next step. These are stages in which they're going to implement this stuff. And this was signed up by the WEF, and the WEF has signed up with our mayor in London as the chair. And he has gone around the world to communicate this C40 to all of the countries in the world. And most of the countries are looking at adopting it. Now, I am going to abolish it. It is a hopeless position. We are going to be in an open prison, or shall we say a COVID, for the rest of our lives. We will not be able to work unless it's in our 15-minute city. It's diabolical. It's not this is not the right thing. And it's been hidden from the public. No one's talking about it.
I just don't want you guys to put your guard down, right? I don't want you to think Trump and Junior and these people, Kash Patel and all these people, they're going to save you, because that's part of the psychology, right? The psychological warfare that we're in, is that they want you to be complacent, thinking that they're taking care of everything. Meanwhile, the plan is marching full steam ahead. I'm going to leave you guys right now with this clip of a farmer who explains a 15-minute city very well. I mean, I couldn't even have done it better myself. So you guys enjoy this. Keep up on your preps. Don't let your guard down. Share this video with your friends so they can kind of understand that the fires that we're seeing, they're not random. Why do all the fires happen to be in cities that are slated for the 15-minute program? And by the way, we've tried 15-minute cities before. They were called projects. Okay, and they did not end so well. All right, but here's that clip of the farmer. Share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys on the next video. And if you guys got the email, I'll see you guys tomorrow at noon at our special meetup location. All right, man, stay vigilant out there. Things are getting pretty wild and fast, very fast.
What is a 15-minute city? So come on in, let me show you what a 15-minute community looks like.
Well, I'm excited to see this, Randy, because you always break things down into nice practical ways, right?
Here we go. These residents of the 15-minute community, they're not locked in, but they just stay there. They're free to come and go, but they don't. So let's take a step inside. Everything they need in their life is right here in their 15-minute community. A water bowl, a feed tray. They own nothing, but they are exceptionally happy. And you know how happy they are is by how many eggs they produce. And it's so wonderful because I get to take everything that they produce, and they just keep producing. So let me go in here. And here we go. Each of them have their own house. Now, in a 15-minute community, you don't get a lot of variation in housing. They're all pretty much the same. But we can take a look and collect their production. There's a few. There's a few more. And there we go.
And they're none the wiser.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
I get to take what they produce. They're free to come and go, but the world is so scary for them out there, they will never leave. I don't have to put a fence around them. And here we are.
It's an ideal world. I don't see anything wrong with it. Everything is provided for them. They're cared for. They're happy. They're together.
Yeah.
It's all convenient.
What? So anybody who wants to understand what a 15-minute community is, here you go. And there's only one boss. And that boss provides everything for them.